Hi, welcome to another J Talks Cars. I'm starting this one a little bit different because this is something that, to be honest with you, I'd not seen coming, especially after just having an MOT. A lot has happened in this period. This is covering 3 weeks of a problem that I did not expect to be experiencing. These problems do happen. It'd be naive of me to think that they don't and what have you. But however, I've come to realise that sometimes when you have an old car, it does come with a lot of risks. I say I realised, I kind of half knew, but I was in denial. And these past 3 weeks have kind of confirmed my nightmares, if you will. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'll let this content kind of tell its own story. But I'm sure many of you have experienced a similar problem or a similar scenario with an older vehicle, and going through certain motions and having to put up with such stress that you have to endure with such a situation. I'm going to safely say that, I'm glad that there's been a few heroes in this story, and there is some. I mean, whether they're intended to be heroes or not, the scenario, I'm going to say, will present them as a bit of a hero. Obviously, it's kiboshed a few things with a few plans, but other than that, it's kind of taught me a few new things as well. Before I go into this content as well, just want to quickly touch on something. This is filmed in April and May. I was originally going to go to Shedfest. However, I feel Shedfest, as much as I would like to show off this car, and I think it would do well in the shed, if you will, category as a show car, I feel as though I want to do a bit more content and do a few other things as well. I kind of want to elevate the car content. I am balancing this with my other content. If you're not so sure, it's mostly to do with the UK dance industry, dance music industry. If you're curious, please check out VaderMonkey vlogs. That will make perfect sense. On this channel is purely like some behind the scenes stuff from that channel. But on this channel also is this content, the car content, sponsored by PowerMaxed as well. There will be a PowerMaxed promo advert. If you are interested in getting PowerMaxed products, basically go onto their website and use my promo code VaderMonkey20 to get yourself, I think it's about 20% discount or something to that line. And on all the products. I will be showcasing the products in upcoming content. I've just had such a lot going on, so trying to get on top of bits and pieces and making sense of certain bits of content has been a little bit of a challenge. So with regards to, let's say, show content and car themed other content as well, I'm hoping to attend a few motorsport events, because I do have a love of motorsport. You've probably seen from my bits or heard from my bits of sim racing that I partake in. And also as well, I'm going to be going to the Ultimate Show in Liverpool, which I have a media pass, which is the first time I've ever had anything like. And I will be going around getting content for future videos and stuff. I might do it in a few separate parts instead of doing it all in one go and getting my head through hours and hours and hours of footage. So I hope you enjoyed this content. This is going to be telling a bit of a story of what I've had to endure over the past 3 weeks. Please like, comment, subscribe. They're especially important. And comment as well, any Audi owners out there that maybe feel maybe I've missed a trick or something, or maybe I've misadvised or whatever. I'm open for discussion. I mean, I'm relying a lot on my previous job, which has been in the motor industry for 20 plus years. I mean, working for VAG, working for Peugeot, Citroën and Ford. So, I have gained reasonable knowledge. I won't say I'm a wealth of knowledge, but I'd like to share my experiences of owning an older vehicle. This is what this whole content's all about, living with an older vehicle and making it work for you. However, I think I may have bit off more than I can chew with this one, this particular situation, but I'll let the content do the talking for me.
Day.
Hello, back for another J Talks Cars. Right, you've probably just seen on the starting montage bit. Just a little trip over to Lincolnshire. Thought I'd give the car a good run since I got the car back. A little bit of a report on it. The car drives brilliantly. There is a little bit of a rattle and knock somewhere in the front, but it's not anything to worry about. The rear of the car, however, I'm not overly too happy with, because basically seems like there's more sag on the driver's side rear. Now, I don't know if that's the shock or whether that's the spring seating or something untoward, but it's slightly lower, only by a few millimeters, and the tyre actually scuffs the rear arch. Now, I have mentioned this in previous content, but in this one I'm really want to find out what is causing it, and I suspect the shock is not dampening as much as it's supposed to. I think it's perhaps a bit too soft, which is a bit frustrating because it's the Bilstein B6 shock absorber, which is meant to be a bit of rebound, but there's meant to be a bit more firmer as well. Going round left-hand turns, the wheel rubs really badly, you know, in the arches. Going round right-hand turns, and there's barely any rubbing. So there is something definitely amiss there. I need to find out what it is. Other than that, the car's driven really, really well. Responsive, definitely much more responsive since I changed the air filter. I am definitely going to think about remapping the car, maybe to get a bit more poke out of it. But yeah, all in all. Oh, and there was a bit of an injury on the car as well. One of my aero fins, through the force of the wind, ripped itself off. So I've only got 4 out of the 5 fins. It's not affected the stabilisation much, but it's just a little bit annoying, the fact that something I put on wasn't clearly stuck down solid enough, and it's probably somewhere on the M61. So yeah, progress report on the car so far. It's driven well. It's been brilliant this weekend. The economy's been brilliant. I do feel as though I need to improve that just a little bit more. And yeah, it's just that rear driver's side shock absorber now, which is going to be the bane of my existence.
1 week later.
So as Fridays go, I've had better. Bloody power steering's popped off the hydraulic hose. Not what I really want for a Friday.
3 days later.
Okay, so you've probably noticed a little bit of a situation that came about on the Friday. So a hydraulic pipe has blown off the system, and I believe it was down to the power steering pump failing, creating too much pressure and blowing this pipe. Now, to find this part is proving to be quite difficult, because it's transpired that Audi no longer build this part, and finding aftermarket or overstock suppliers is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. So my current situation, from what you can see, is I'm currently looking for a pipe. Yeah, not what I really need right now. This could be quite a bit of a mission.
2 days later.
So we're midweek, the following week after the problem, and yeah, the situation is worse than I thought. So the hydraulic hose, that I think it's the return pipe to the power steering from the pump, with it being an old part, it's now, according to VAG, the part is now obsolete. So trying to get it directly through Audi or through any VAG supplier, I mean even lower ranking ones, is nigh impossible. So the problem I have now is trying to find one. Now, the other option is possibly getting one remanufactured. Not so sure with it being a hydraulic hose, because it's a high pressure hose. But this is proving to be quite a difficult one. Because you would think with a power steering pipe that it would be a common replacement. So I'm going to look and see if there's any other 1.9 variants that maybe be able to, we may be able to, if they have the part, that might work. But I think it's a certain pressure that these pipes work to, and it has to be the right specific pressure, or right specific pipe. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a pickle right now. So yeah, don't know what to do.
1 hour later.
So that's both cars at the garage. It's just bloody typical, really. Not really what I wanted today, but it's a bad week for the pair of us. Thankfully these guys are helping us out.
2 days later.
Right, well, this isn't what I hadn't planned on doing. As you can see, I am stuck in my partner's car at a Shell garage near Wakefield. Just on the way to film content for my other YouTube channel, and we've experienced a problem where the coolant light, warning light, came on. Obviously we've come off the M1 to this service station, this petrol station, and I've inspected under the bonnet and to discover that one of the radiator pipes has blown off. However, the weather, as you can say, it needs to be much more to decide, otherwise I would have tried fixing it myself. So we're just currently in the process waiting for the REC. We're hoping that they could perhaps do a bit more better fix to it, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back on the road.
1 hour later. A few moments later.
Back on the road again. Just a case of replacing a hose. And we're back on the M1 going to our destination. I'll talk more when we get home. And yeah, that was a bit of a misadventure.
3 days later.
Right, well, that's the part remanufactured. And now see if it'll fit, which I'm pretty sure it will do. Helen's work, or a colleague of Helen's, has really done me an absolute solid. We're doing this, so yeah, hopefully all going well. So yeah, I'm back. Just going to drop this part off, and hopefully all going well. This repairs the issue. We don't know if the power steering pump's completely gone as well. Either way, there's quite a lot that's needed, so it's been a very busy few weeks. This vlog, or this content, has taken a while to put together because of the time period I've had to work with it. There have been other mitigating factors as well as been my other content and stuff. But yeah, let's drop this part off and let's talk more about it.
2 days later.
Okay, so let's talk about the past 3 weeks with the car. Well, if you remember, obviously some of the footage. Basically, I was taking my car to the car wash, and the car hadn't been driven for a good few days. Driving up, no issues, didn't feel any issues with the steering, there was no heaviness, there was no telltale signs. So I get to the car wash, I wash the car, and just as I'm setting off, I turn slightly and I hear a pop and the steering goes heavy. I knew something had happened with the power steering, but I wasn't entirely sure what. So obviously I tried driving the car back, at least got about halfway around the forecourt, and I realised something was even worse than just the steering. So what's happened is I've pulled the car up, called out RAC, and got the car recovered to the garage, and obviously waited till Monday. We had a look underneath the bonnet before we had it recovered, and we realised it was a hydraulic hose from the power steering pump to, I think it was the feed line to the power steering. That had come completely off, and I was like, okay, no problem, just get another hose. Suspected it may have been the power steering pump, might have been over pressurizing or something towards the power steering which caused it to, but in the end it turned out, come Monday, it turned out that the end of the hose connecting to the power steering line had corroded. So thinking, well, way of solving this would be to get another hose, or I thought. So garage contacts Audi and a few other parts dealers, and we learned that the actual hose itself is now obsolete at Audi in terms of supply. I'd located another hose, and it was through Audi Tradition. But the problem we have with ordering parts through Audi Tradition, because this is a surplus part, which they clearly have had in stock for quite a considerable time, is I need an AROI number, which is something you can only get if you are a parts dealer or a manufacturer retailer. I am neither. So for what looked like a great price, turned out to be a massive nightmare. So I couldn't order the part. And I could not obtain the part in the UK. So obviously I put a post on Facebook out, obviously sharing my plight, and it was suggested to go contact a hydraulics company. Initially I contacted Pertec, and they were prepared to do the job. However, my partner works
for Lancashire DAF, and her boss, if you will, knew somewhere which apparently it was cheaper. So I dropped the part off with them. He took it down to his guy. The company's called LIJ in Leyland, and basically the part, they could remanufacture the complete part. So they'd done so, and I get my part back, albeit about a couple of weeks later than planned. Admittedly, I wasn't complete loss because I did have use of my partner's car. My partner did drive me to a couple of my other commitments. However, when we picked up the part and took the part to the garage, we discovered that the nut which connects to the power steering pump was Imperial, and Audi supply their nuts and parts in metric. So obviously we had to pick the part up, take it back to LIJ, and they put on the right nut for it to be fitted. This is the Sunday, literally 3 weeks later, and I'm hoping to pick up my car this week. Hopefully the part will be fitted. Thankfully, the whole ordeal has cost me less than I thought, but what has been a benefit really to the company that have remanufactured the part on my behalf, that they are now going to be building and supplying this particular part in the future. So what turned out to be a complete nightmare is actually turned out to be an opportunity for this company, for LRJ. So really this is more a bit of a service announcement type thing. So if you are looking for, or let's say you have any issues with your hydraulic feed line power steering hose, which is the pipe that links directly from your power steering pump to, I think, the power steering feed, if I can remember the technical terms. I'm not a mechanic. Contact them, because they will be building and supplying parts in future, or this particular part, because this part is obsolete as far as Audi or VAG is concerned. So anybody in the UK or anybody internationally or whatever that are requiring this particular hose, this particular power steering feed line, whatever, LIJ based in Leyland are the company you need to contact, and and they will be, happy to, at cost, obviously they'll be remanufacturing price, because obviously these things do cost, but they'll be remanufacturing and supplying the part. If it weren't for these guys, I would be in a situation where I would be considering my options with this car, which, if I'm completely honest, I do not want to sell the car. I think financially it will be counterproductive for me to let this car go, and I'm glad that they've pretty much saved the day. So this is a Sunday evening. I'm just kind of logging this in this part of the vlog for it to be known that these guys are absolute heroes, and if you have a same problem as what I have literally endured over the past 3 weeks, then I would highly recommend going to these guys, and they will they will supply you a remanufactured part that they have done themselves, because obviously they have learned how this part comes together, and I'm absolutely grateful. So just to note as well, this part is only applicable, to my knowledge, to the 4.2 V8 S4s. It's the same part. I'm presuming also it's with the petrol 1.8 turbo, but don't quote me on that. But for the PD engines for the Audi A4, B6, B7 platforms, then if you are struggling to get this particular part, LIJ in Leyland are remanufacturing and supplying these parts. So I would highly recommend getting in contact with them.
The next day.
Okay, we're now on the Monday, and when I thought things couldn't get any worse, they have a little bit. So the problem that caused the hose to come off like it did was overpressurization within the power steering pump, which basically means the power steering pumps failed as well. So I've had to order another power steering pump through eBay, and to learn that that's also a remanufactured part. So yeah, the power steering department on my car is a part that clearly Audi were like, I'm not going to bother with anymore. So that should be coming, I'm going to say roughly either end of the month, by probably Wednesday, Thursday now. So another week without the car. Yeah, this is proving to be more of a pickle than it really needed to be. I thought it was going to be straightforward. Clearly not. But let's see. Let's hope this part is the right part. It's claiming that it's OEM remanufactured part. So yeah, let's see. Okay.
Right, I just want to quickly talk about my Patreon. Now, this, even though I've got sponsorship from like Power Max and I've had Car Fans and I've had Dubby and that, obviously I'm not making a lot of money from these videos, mostly because the subscribers, and secondly as well is, you know, it's this car content has been sporadic over the past, so I don't really expect people to fully support it as much as I would like them to. However, I've set up a Patreon where basically it has 3 tiers, and on those 3 tiers you can get like freebies and stuff like that. Now, I currently also run this for my other channel, which is VaderMonkey Vlogs. And I have initiatives aimed more towards that industry. Now, with this, with the 3 tiers of VaderMonkey TV in terms of J Talks Cars content, it's more towards like, you know, you can get free merch or exclusive content before it comes out and stuff like that. And for as little as £3 a month, it all goes towards like helping me going to film other content, traveling to maybe places or go to shows and stuff like that. So the first tier is £3 a month. You get like, you know, you get free merch basically, and you get exclusive access. £6 a month, you get much the same as the first tier, but you get credited on the vlogs, or literally on the car content, as well as a supporter of the channel. And then for £9 a month, basically it's VIP treatment where you'll get exclusive merch before it even drops on the VaderMonkey TV store. And also as well, you get like, you know, put into a raffle to maybe win prizes and stuff like that. And that's all for £9 a month. So those are the 3 tiers I'm doing for the Patreon for J Talks Cars. I am going to be working out how I'm going to skew this, because I've never really done anything like this before. This is a hobby, or has been a hobby, but it is costing me money in order to do this content. And obviously I want to improve the quality of content to hopefully keep you guys engaged, and hopefully you guys join me on my journey as a content creator, as a car content creator, and if you're into dance music, as a dance music sort of journalist. I don't know if that's the correct term, but end of the day, you know, I'm branching different types of content because of my interests and my hobbies, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. And if you like the content, I appreciate the support. If you really want to support the channel, please jump on board with my Patreon at patreon.com/VaderMonkeyTV, and obviously I will have things up for the you know, the tiers for the J Talks Cars. Anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next vid. Ciao. next.